Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Liverpool 1, Leicester 3. What a controversial game. What an exhilarating game we have just witnessed. Liverpool go 1-0 up courtesy of an astounding goal. An astounding goal, a quick turn touch layoff. I don't even know what you call it. From Bobby Firmino, Mo Salah with the finish, and you think, here we go. Liverpool will go on now. They'll win this game. They'll get themselves back on track. But the turmoil continues. 7 minutes of madness. 7 minutes of beautiful Premier League football. Bish, bash, bosh. Some VAR controversy to throw in there that we're going to discuss on this show. Then a calamitous moment, an awful nightmare debut in the end. Alisson and Kabak clashing with one another, leading to a tap-in and an open goal for Jamie Vardy. And then Kabak completely out of position. An easy ball played in when Liverpool were open. They spread apart like peanut butter. And then Harvey Barnes goes through to get what I think is his 13th goal this season. What an amazing campaign young Harvey Barnes is having. And Liverpool Football Club find themselves completely and utterly out of the title race, but very much out of the race for the title, but also being in a struggling position if they don't improve soon to even make it into the top four. And as I'm saying here, I'm not blaming Kabak, by the way, for the clash. The Kabak is complete. The clash was completely on Alisson. But what a nightmare start for Kabak, a young defender, new to the Premier League, to be involved in that goal and then opened up for the second one. It's going to be hard for him to bounce back from there. But it really is terrible times right now at Liverpool Football Club. There's no doubt about it. But I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think about in relation to the VAR controversy. We're going to be getting the panel on really soon. We're going to release the link for you to come on and have your say as well. But we need to go past 1,000 likes before we do any of that. Over 2,000 people watching already. We need to hear from you right about now. But as I say, major controversy in this game. Looking at your comments coming through here, the Devil's Advocate says, Alisson has done a De Gea. Both considered great goalkeepers at points in their career, but then slipped. Klopp has looks broken. I pity him, is what's being said there. This is from a Liverpool fan who says, we were really bad today, but Salah was fouled in the box, no penalty. Mane was shoved in the back for their second goal. Kabak worried me a little bit. And I hear you on that. Liverpool fans, how concerned are you with your season? We take a look at the league table as it stands right now. And yes, as we can see, Liverpool find themselves in a position where they're fourth. But if Chelsea and West Ham win this weekend, if Everton win this weekend, you know, maybe even when you look at Tottenham, plus 14 goal difference, if Spurs were to pick up a win against City, if all four of those teams win this weekend, which is doable, I don't know if any of them are actually playing each other. I think it's doable. They could all win this weekend. Liverpool could find themselves in 8th position, not where they want to be at this stage in time at all. We have another super chat here from Aaron, who's a Liverpool fan, that says, we are the worst champions. I can't defend us. Alisson stinker again. To sink us 1-0 to 3-1 down is just unacceptable. We're not even confident about top four now. And do you know what, Aaron, what I would say about that? It was the way it went. As soon as you conceded that goal, you know, we thought it was a penalty. It wasn't. It was a free kick. VAR did the right thing. We thought the goal was offside. It wasn't. It was onside. Firmino's foot kept him onside. Liverpool just couldn't recover. The vulnerability in this Liverpool team now is astounding to see. The mentality monsters look lost and look a shadow of themselves. Edwards said they needed a goal, but the best they could do was bring on Shaqiri. City on another level is what Edward here has said. Malik says, I love Jamie Vardy. That celebration was taking the P. I hear you on that. Harrison here says, everyone laughed at me when I said Liverpool wouldn't make the top four before the season started. Look at them now. Frauds. Harrison thinks Liverpool are frauds. I want your views and I want your opinions on that. We need to get to the 1,000 like mark. Then we're going to open up the lines for you to call in. Alisson is the new Kepa. I hear you on that. I do hear you on that. I think for me, I don't know why. I just feel like I feel so sorry for everybody. I don't know what I normally wouldn't say this about Liverpool, But I feel genuinely sorry for them. I feel sorry for the players. I feel sorry. I don't know why I just feel a sense of sorrow for Liverpool right now. Kepa over Alisson is what Sia said here. I don't listen. I know I might be a rare. It might be a rarity to hear a Man United fan say that, but I just do. I just feel sorry for Liverpool. I really do at this stage. I feel really sorry from collapse like that after being champions. I almost feel like I know the pain. I know what it feels like and everything else. I really, really do. 3,000 people tuning in. Smash that like and share button, people. Let's go. Super chat here says, Terry, I say it again. Thiago is overrated. Bayern Munich knew he was on the decline. Do you know what? Thiago's suffering with what Donny van der Beek is suffering with at Manchester United. He is just not accustomed yet to the speed of the Premier League. He needs to move the ball faster. He needs to react quicker. European football and Premier League football are two very different things. The amount of times that top quality European and international stars have joined the Premier League and said the same thing. The pace, the speed, the velocity of the Premier League took them a long time to get used to. Monsieur here says VAR ruined the game. His hand was offside. Bamford goal ruled out because of the same thing. It wasn't his hand. It's the shirt line. It's the shirt line, not the hand. That's a misconception. But that's the big question. Was it offside? Was VAR right? Was VAR wrong? We want your views. We want your opinions on that, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to open up the lines now. We're going to put the link into the Discord server. So get yourselves across to the Discord server and into the chat box as well. If you want to come on, if you want to have your say, we want to hear from you right about now. Who's to blame today? VAR, the referees, Liverpool. What you thinking? What you feeling? We've got Zane backstage, David backstage, Ram backstage. We're going to be getting them all on very, very soon. Harrison back again here. Says Liverpool won the league when City won it back-to-back and had no centre-backs. Chelsea had a new manager and a transfer ban. Arsenal and Spurs both fired their coaches mid-season. Frauds is what Harrison has to say. Aaron here says, look like we are back to the days before Klopp. Oh, my God, what a joke this season could be. 7th on Monday night. I mean, that's the thing with Liverpool. You could be 7th by Monday night. By Monday night, you could be 7th. That's the crazy element here. By Monday night, you could be 7th. Who's to blame? What's going on? We want to speak about today's game in its entirety, though. I know a lot of people are angry with VAR as an example. We're going to start going to your calls now. Let me just share the link as well in the Discord server. I'm going to do that now. I said I would. It's on the general chat. If you're on the general chat on the Discord, I've just spammed it into there. First on the show, we're going to get a man like Pav. Pav, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Liverpool 1, Leicester City 3. Give me your thoughts.
I knew Leicester was going to win this game. This is why I put them in my bet to win, and they won. Liverpool done pretty well to nullify what Leicester do, because they're kind of a one-trick pony team where they just kick the ball over the top to Harvey Barnes and Vardy. But then they capitulated at the end. Like Trent and the new guy, they switched off, and that's what cost them the game. And Alisson again, what's happened to this guy? Like I put a meme up, right? You know the Scooby-Doo meme where they lift take off the mask, and it's Carrius. Like something's gone wrong with this guy. And what is this? The second game running now it's happened. Like, did he even shout to say that he was coming out to Kabak? Like people putting blame on Kabak. But why did Alisson come out? Why didn't he shout that he was coming out? I don't think there was any need for him to come out.
Pav. Every time you ring, bruv, we get this in and out. What kind of microphone are you using?
Oh, it's straight off my phone, mate.
Okay, whatever you're doing, just try and stay as close to the mic as you can. Yeah, because it keeps cutting out so we can't hear you. Listen, I understand where you're coming from, Alisson, and I want Liverpool fans to tell us what's going on. I just think it's a confidence crisis right now at Liverpool. There's a crisis of confidence. They're all up in the air. And sometimes in football, when it starts to go wrong, there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's almost like it's a landslide and they're trying to stop it with their hands from falling apart and they just can't do it. It's like Jesus trying to eat a Malteser. You're not going to stop it from going through the hole. Do you get what I mean? It's there. It's got the hole in the hand. It's going to happen. It really, really is. In terms of in terms of the VAR, in terms of VAR today, do you think it was correct in the offside decision?
I first thought it was offside because they said that the defender who they were looking at. They said he tried to play, like he put his leg out, but it wasn't the case. It was the fact that it was like the arm, and if it's onside, if he's onside, he's onside. Some people will say, but he tried to play the ball, but it didn't touch him. That's the main thing. It didn't touch him, so
well, I don't
it's a
think
goal. It's the rules.
But that isn't the point. No disrespect to you, Pav. He did try and play the ball. If he was in an offside position and tried to play the ball, it would have been given. The fact is, when the ball was struck, Firmino's foot was playing him onside, so it just simply wasn't. Whether he went for the ball or not is almost inconsequential. It's a clean goal as far as I'm concerned. Pav, thank you very much for your support and coming on the show, mate, and having your say. We're going to jump into more callers here. Next on the show is going to be Kelly Weston. Kelly, welcome to the show. What do you want to
say? Terry, good afternoon. I'm calling from Italy, Torino.
Who do you support?
Man United fan.
Give me your thoughts on this game. What went wrong for Liverpool today?
Terry, man, they are dead. Club, Henderson, your team is dead, man. They are dead. In fact, they're going to finish this season 10th position or 9, even 9.
Listen, I hear you on that, Kelly. Thank you very much for calling in and having your say. Next up on the show, we're going to have we're going to get Ben Marshall on the show. Ben Marshall, welcome to the terrace. Who do you support?
Hello, I support Chelsea.
What went wrong today for Liverpool?
I don't know. They looked confident in the first half. They were pressing Leicester and everything, but I think they just lost in the second.
What do you think? But what do you think's gone wrong at Liverpool this season? It's not the first time they've lost a game. It isn't the first time they've had a collapse at the back. Why do you think they're finding it so hard in the Premier League?
I think injuries and confidence. They've lost so many players through injuries, and we saw Milner go off in like the first 5 minutes or something like that. So I think it's injuries, and with so many players out there, don't have confidence, and they don't. I don't think they have the trust at the back.
Yeah, I do hear you on that. Listen, Ben, thank you very much for calling the show and having your say. Scott here says Alisson is playing awful, but this is a sign of a goalkeeper who has no faith in his defenders playing in front of him, and it's making him make rash decisions. Remember, we've got the panel coming up very soon. We've got Ram, we've got Zayn, we've got David backstage ready to go. Next up on the football terrace, we've got Turap LFC. We know he's a Liverpool fan, been on the show before. Mate, another devastating day for Liverpool. Of course, we have to pay homage to Leicester. Leicester City were excellent today. There's no doubt about it. But what's going on? Alisson mistakes, open at the back, no fight back, a lack of confidence as soon as you conceded. What's wrong with Liverpool, mate?
I don't know, mate. Honestly, the confidence is gone. Everything is out of sync. I thought first hour we were really good. We boxed them in. They couldn't get out. I thought, you know what? This looks like Liverpool of last season. And then all of a sudden, VAR obviously comes in. I haven't looked back on it, so I don't know, onside, offside. Obviously, they've given it onside. But then the second goal, I don't know what. I don't know whether Alisson came out and told Kabak I'm coming out, or there was a lack of communication. I don't know what happened there. That was just a joke. And then from there on in, my problem was Klopp taking Curtis Jones off again. If I was him, I would have taken Thiago off. I don't care if he came on as a substitute in the first half, because he was so slow on the ball. Ndidi had him in his pocket today. Ndidi, this is Thiago. He's not delivered. He has not delivered so far. This isn't a Thiago agenda. But right now, I think you mentioned Donny van der Beek. He just hasn't adjusted at all to how we play, how quick the league can be, how quickly you can get pressed. Thiago is a very silky player. He wants to drop a shoulder and beat his man. It's not that kind of league. So he needs to adjust. And right now, I just don't know. I'm struggling to come up with answers as to why everything's going wrong. Because up until their first goal, I thought we were the better team. Yeah, they were getting in behind, but they weren't taking out their chances. But it's just really frustrating, mate. I don't know anymore. And I think we could end up 8th or 7th on Monday if results go certain way. So I don't know anymore, mate. It's just frustrating.
You know what? I know. I think the problem I find with a lot of this is I know Liverpool fans don't necessarily want to have a go at Jurgen Klopp, especially with what came out midweek as an example. We know that he's gone for a very, very tough and torrid time. What I'm seeing here when I look at this as a rival fan is I'm seeing a system that has been found out. I'm seeing a team that look exhausted. Forget physically. I think it's a mental exhaustion. But we all know when you're tired mentally. Like I've never done a job as an adult that's been physically demanding. I've always very much been pushing a pen in one way, shape, or form. But it's always been mentally demanding. And that by the end of the week can make me feel exhausted. I look at these Liverpool players, and as soon as something goes wrong in a game,
our heads drop, our heads are gone.
Their heads go. And Jurgen Klopp's one of the best man managers in the world. They just look devoid. And it reminds me of Man City last season. Man City to about late October, early November, Liverpool created a gap. And then you almost saw them say, oh,
we've given up.
And I don't think it was a conscious decision. I think it's a subconscious, oh, we'll come again next year. Just don't have the energy to keep going at the relentless pace of the previous 2 seasons. And I think all of that's crept in. And then what happens is all the excuses of injuries, no fans, etc., get thrown in. And it almost creates an out for the players. They almost have a way of going, oh, we can get out of, we can devoid ourselves of blame because the fans are giving us an out. You add all that together, and it's the cocktail for disaster. I don't think it's one particular thing. I think
it's a combination of a lot of things. And the thing is, everyone's got the same thing. Like Leicester have had injuries this season. City have had injuries this season. Arsenal have had injuries this season. A lot of teams have had injuries. Obviously, not to our level, but everyone's playing with no fans. Everyone's kind of factors are kind of similar. But for me, Klopp just looks broken at the moment. Actually, he's not as animated as he once was, and when he's lashing out a lot now on the touchline. I don't know if you've noticed, Terry, but he's lashing out quite a lot. And I feel like I think Pep went through something similar. I believe Pep's mum last year died of COVID as well, and then Pep just wasn't Pep anymore. Like his character, he was very out of character. And I think Klopp's going through the same thing, and I think it's just kind of manifested into the players as well. Like Henderson is barking so much as well. I feel like all the players, when one little thing goes wrong, everyone just goes at each other, and it's actually quite worrying at the moment. I don't know if you saw, there was a moment when Thiago did give that foul on the edge that led to the first goal. Henderson was absolutely barking at Thiago, absolutely barking at him.
Bro, this is just so normal and natural. When a team,
exactly.
I've seen Man United and Chelsea go through this same pattern. When they were winning and at the top, there was almost this coolness under pressure. And as soon as it starts going wrong, you see a snap, because you suddenly go from always getting what you want and earning it to not getting what you want. And it's a normal human reaction that they are kind of going through at this moment in time. And I actually think one of the best things that the Liverpool fans could do is be a little more critical of them, be a little more forceful, a little more demanding, because I think what they've got at them, there's this conformity bias that's going around where most Liverpool fans are just saying, oh, it's okay because of the injuries. It's okay because
it's not okay.
Exactly. And I think it gives you an out, and it takes away from things. But Trap, listen, bro, really great chat. Great having you on. We'll speak to you again soon, mate. Do me a favor, everyone tuning in, smash that like button. I want to hear about the controversies with VAR today. Should Leicester's equaliser have been given? I also want to speak about Leicester City today. We've got the panel coming up in about 15 minutes time. Stay with the Football Terrace until then. But what I need you all to do right now is hit that like button. Right now, hit that like button. Check out Manscaped, our title sponsors for today. 20% off all their products available in the description below. We want to hear from you. We had a super chat here that says, to be honest, Terry, I don't feel sorry for Liverpool. They deserve this for the arrogance. It's like when the Foxes won the league, they win and the whole world comes to stop you, is what's being said there. A lot of people going in on Thiago here as well. I would love to hear from some Leicester fans on how well they played as well. I think they were excellent. Aaron, we're not taking calls on Discord. You have to phone in via the link that I shared on the Discord server. I'll put it again into the general chat box. So if you are listening, get yourselves on that way so you can call in. We're going to go through some quick fire calls now to see what people are saying in the build up to this. But I need you all hitting like and share buttons right about now, people. Subscribing to the Football Terrace. Let's do this. Look, there's a comment here from Winnerpool that says, Terry, I'm fuming because for 78 minutes we were the better team. We lost the game in 5 minutes. We don't finish our chances, and our defense is getting punished in every single game. Next up on the show, we have Stephen, who's a Liverpool fan. Stephen, welcome back to the Terrace. What do you want to say?
Well, Terry, yes, I even at 1-0, I wasn't confident because this is the end of the Liverpool that I've seen before last year, because we were just this all conquering attacking side with defense, Virgil leading there at the back, helping that. Now you just don't get that. There's a lot of personnel gone, but I'm definitely not excusing that because we are very, very poor position, right? And
Yeah.
for me, it's sorry.
No, keep going.
It's just I don't see where this next win's coming from. I just don't. It's confusing and it's so poor that going forward, how can I be confident in any game now? Because what I'm seeing is just the same old rubbish for the past since West Brom 1-1. We don't look like scoring enough. We don't create enough chances. The defense is just all over the place in terms of Kabak coming in. You have 1 week you get Henderson and Fabinho back there in one defense. Then you've got Nat Phillips. There's a lot of spine in there missing, and for me, we've got to be worrying about top 5 here, not top 4. If we get into Europa League, then I worry in terms of certain players leaving, or even Klopp's future, because you can't attract them certain players if you're going to be in the Europa League, and it's worrying times, mate.
No, listen, I completely agree with you, Stephen. I understand. Once that confidence goes, it's very difficult to turn it round, bro. Thank you very much for coming on and having your say, mate. Really appreciate that. Next up, we've got Conroy. Conroy is a Liverpool fan. Welcome back. Another disappointing result. 5 defeats in recent weeks for Liverpool now, and it just seems to go from bad to worse.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. To be honest, I think last week I was kind of 50-50 with Man City because obviously I'd said the levels were different, but today it went from levels last week to laughable this week. That collapse, to be honest, it reminded me very much of a kind of ended during Brendan Rodgers' term and they started Klopp a bit like it Spurs away at Wembley and stuff. Just we've went from being mentality monsters to absolute. I mean that a top team, even not even a champion, a team who's got to such a good position, even if that happens with VAR, they shouldn't fall apart like that. It was actually laughable, and it's the space of 5 minutes. So, everyone's complaining about VAR, right? At the end of the day, right, we've all agreed to do VAR. This is the way it is. You want the correct decisions. Don't moan about that. At the end of the day, the free kick still goes in. What about the issues with the free kick? How is that going in? There's defensive issues there as well. Instead of just settling ourselves, we just collapse like a deck of cards. It's actually fuming. I thought that was horrendous, and it's just a draw. It wasn't even a good result today, so the loss just compounds. I actually thought it was Liverpool used to have this habit of making great players just do stupid things or weird mistakes, and I thought we got rid of that. But today, I mean, Alisson's made 3 errors in 2 games. It's actually astounding. I just honestly thought it was horrendous.
Absolutely. In terms of the season moving forward, is it now just focus on, top 4, if this doesn't turn around, could become a struggle for you? And where's your head at in relation to that right now?
But Terry, the thing is, this season, right, it's not like a normal season. Teams like Aston Villa they've not fell away. Teams are still beating each other. So I don't think it's easy to say Liverpool get a couple of wins and they'll be fine. I think this is a serious, after today especially, because everyone's like, oh no, we'll do good today because there'll be space, and there was space there. I think there's so many issues that I actually can see us. It'll all depend. I think the next couple of weeks will tell if we don't sharpen up our act. But I think every game is going to be a struggle at the moment. It's an absolute struggle. Even today, the space was there and the finishing was absolutely woeful. That Mo Salah miss in the first half, right, is laughable, but no one talks about it. And I'm not going to get into the we need a striker debate, but if that's any decent, a good striker, you get that, you score the goal, you're 1-0 up, you're in control of the game. Liverpool need 4 or 5 chances to get a goal as usual, and then on top of that, we collapsed today. For Thiago, I don't think he must have gave the ball away about 7 times. I know he wasn't fully fit, but his tackling has been terrible since he got here. Showed that again today. I think, Terry, the next couple of games will tell if we've got a chance for the top 4. But this season is not like other seasons. I think teams have managed to keep a bit of the... So like Villa, for example, they keep that difficulty. There's not going to be any easy games. There's not going to be a game that's a banker we'll do well right now, because we can't beat the teams that give us space, right? We can't beat the teams who sit in. So
Yeah,
Who knows, mate? Who knows,
hard
mate?
at the minute. When you look at it, it's 2 wins in your last 10 Premier League games as well, which is you would have got what 10,000 to 1 odds if you'd have said 10 games ago, gone to any bookie and said Liverpool already winning 20% of their next 10 games. You would have been laughed out the door, and also losing 5 of them is just astronomical. And today, what we're now seeing with Liverpool is a combination of 2 things. It's the lack of finishing up front, which has been clear for us all to see this season, and the defensive frailties. And Kabak, listen, Alisson was definitely at fault for the second goal. Runs into the back of him. Kabak was completely out of position for the next. What that will do to that young man's confidence this early on in his career is also damaging as well. And it's going to be a really big test now for Jurgen Klopp as to whether or not he pushes forward. Thiago, again, I thought he had another disastrous performance when coming on. Moves the ball. I don't even care to look what his pass completion rate was. It's the lack of mobility. It's the lack of speed in his play. He looks like he's really struggling with the pace and the strength required in the Premier League. There's no doubt. And we know he's a world-class player. And I had a debate earlier on today on Twitter about should teams adjust their system and style to accommodate players or vice versa? And for me, it's the player adjusts as to the other way around. So Jurgen Klopp has got to get that right and quickly, because you've got a lot of teams breathing down your neck for a top 4 position. Conroy, appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Really do appreciate that massively. I want to say as well here about Leicester. We have to speak about Leicester. The panel are coming on in 5 minutes time, people. Let's get this video past 1,000 likes. Please, you've got a Gal on the panel, Zayn on the panel, David on the panel, Ram on the panel. It's going to be amazing. You know it always is here at the Football Terrace. But I want to speak for a moment about Leicester. Leicester City, what a comeback. Leicester City, what a great season they are having. I want to put the Premier League table back up on the screen again here, because we do cover Leicester now as part of the Football Terrace, and that will grow more and more as we move forward. But I want to just take a look. I'll put it in big on the screen here. You'll see Leicester sitting in second place, 14 wins out of 24 games, 46 points. What a campaign and what a season they are having. Legitimately, what a season they are having. And they've had great results against a lot of the big teams. An amazing comeback from them today. The perseverance. We get on at them a lot here at the Terrace, and a lot of fans do get on at Leicester about, are they bottle jobs? You know, can they see themselves through? Do they have the staying power to keep themselves in the top 4 this season? And today was excellent, because when they go that goal down, you think, are they going to capitulate? Are they going to fall away? No. They did the same thing with Man United on Boxing Day, where they kept themselves in there. And yes, there were some Liverpool mistakes that led to these goals. But you know what? Pressure burst pipes. They kept the pressure on Liverpool. Even in the first half, the better play was with Jurgen Klopp's men. No doubt. But who had the better chances? Who created the better openings? It was all Leicester. Leicester were the better team in the first half in terms of the opportunities in front of goal, which is the most important thing. And in the second half, almost the same. And when they got their chances, they took them. They delivered. And because Liverpool are vulnerable, because Liverpool's jaw right now is weak, they're having a pop at them. And what Leicester showed everybody today, is that even Liverpool going 1-0 up against you, they're not formidable. We saw the same thing with Man United in the FA Cup. A year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if Liverpool went 1-0 up against you, it was curtains, and it isn't. And Leicester today stepped up massively, and they delivered. They've put themselves in an amazing position. So I'd love to hear from people about Leicester as well. We will speak about them with the panel. But we want to get this video past 4,000 live viewers. You need to smash that like button. You need to subscribe to the Terrace right now. Chris Clifford here for Super Chat says, poor tackle from Thiago to give away the free kick in the first place. This guy is supposed to be world class. So poor. We move on to the next game. And you're right, he was meant to be world class, and he hasn't been so far. David says, are Leicester City FC back officially after dropping 14 points? Yeah, they've been great recently. Terry, missing my super chat. Did I miss your super chat, Martin? I'm really sorry. I did, actually. It says, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I adore how well Leicester are run. Chelsea are close second, but Leicester are the best team in the country right now. That's an amazing shout, considering where City are. But they're only 4 points. Who knows what's going to happen today? Spurs could throw in a madness today and do that. Zayn Excuse FC come in. Zayn will be with us very, very soon indeed. There's no doubt about that. Get your super chat questions in for the panel as well, people. We want to know what you're thinking and feeling. 5 out of 7 record signings not out, not a mention. phone the show then, bro. Listen, we've spoke about Liverpool's injuries, and I've certainly said they've played a part. I've certainly said they've played a part in this, but not enough to. It can't just be the injuries why you've won 2 games in 10. It's not the injuries that's stopping your strikers from scoring. It isn't the injuries that's making you vulnerable when you go a goal down. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. There is far more at play here. Far more at play here. And it's time Liverpool fans woke up and smelt the coffee. You've got, in my opinion, the best manager in the league. You've got one of the best squads and teams in the world. But there is a injury problem crisis happening, yes, but there's a crisis of confidence. Maybe there's some exhaustion. Maybe there's a problem with the energy. Maybe there's a problem with the man management. Maybe there's a stoutness in the dressing room. It can't just be injuries are the only problem, because your decline started on the 1st of February 2020. Malik here says Harvey Barnes having one of his best seasons, end product coming through. Madders is a baller. Vardy is an old G. And Harvey, do you know why Harvey Barnes is getting the recognition now? I hate to say this, people. He's adding the stats. He's adding the stats. Stats matter. Stats matter in football. Always have, always will. Stats matter. Ability's one thing, outputs is another. Celtic Warrior here says, as a United fan, lots of laughter there. And I'm sure Man United fans and City fans, Everton fans as well, all around the world are rubbing their hands at this. They truly, truly are. We're going to do one more call before the panel come on. We're going to get man like Aaron on, the Donny Rovers fan in the house. What you saying, Aaron?
I'm good, Terry. Getting ready for Sunderland in 5 minutes. Hoping for a 2-0 win. Josh Sims back on the bench. I want to look at both sides today, because I think Leicester do deserve the credit today. I think Leicester recently have been absolutely incredible. I think Harvey Barnes, in my opinion, is a major contender for man of the match because of his end product. But I think the praise has to go to that midfield as well. Ndidi had Thiago in his pocket. You know, he's going to go home tonight, empty it out, and Thiago is going to be in there because Thiago, in my opinion, like Donny van der Beek at times, hasn't adjusted to the league. I agree with that. And, you know, Tielemans was great today as well. I'm looking at the next sort of 6-7 games for Leicester and Liverpool. They've got Slavia Prague in the Europa League with Aston Villa in between both legs. Then they've got Arsenal at home, Brighton away, then hosting Sheffield United before that FA Cup quarter-final with Manchester United. So, you know, it's going to be a tough few games with some of them relegation rivals and Europa League rivals as well. Liverpool, and I want to analyse this hopefully in the future, Terry, with you in more detail as well. I'd love to do a video with you in the panel on this. Looking at their next games, they've got the Merseyside derby after that first leg with Leipzig, then Sheffield United, then Fulham, then the second leg against Leipzig, then Wolves, then Arsenal, then Aston Villa. A lot of tough games. And like you said, Liverpool's confidence are really on the floor today. And like I said, I'd love to chat to you in the panel about this in more detail in the future, what's going wrong at Liverpool at the minute, because I've been watching this in close detail in the last month or so. Confidence is completely on the floor. Thiago, like I said, hasn't adjusted. Salah should have taken his chances. The defence has been a nightmare. Alisson, in my opinion, I think, to be honest, like David De Gea at times, I think Alisson just needs a game or two out. Get Kelleher in there. Get that youth keeper put in the spotlight, and let's see how he does. Because he's been performing better than Alisson, in my opinion, on form. But listen, Terry, it's been interesting for Liverpool. Let's see how they do in the Champions League. But yeah, I hope my team wins against Sunderland, and I'd love to chat to you in the panel more about Liverpool because I think it's a very interesting topic.
There we go. Aaron, good luck today with Donny Rovers, mate. Speak to you again soon. All the best, mate. Take care. It's time for the panel, ladies and gentlemen. David, Zane, Ram, Igal was here. He seems to have disappeared. Not too sure where he's gone. We're going to get the panel on now to have their say. We want your thoughts. We want your feelings. We want everything. Anything you want to know as well, get your super chat questions in. Jamar comes back and says, take 5 record signings out of Prime Barca, Real or United. Yeah, bro, listen. Yes, it makes an impact, but 5 defeats in your last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Come on, there's more at play here. There's more at play. Let's get the panel on, people. Let's do this. Panel's back in the house. Liverpool absolutely in the mud as things stand right now. I want to go to Ram first of all on this, one of our resident Liverpool supporters. what's going on at your club, mate? It goes from bad to worse.
I think some serious soul searching needs to be done, man. Like today was laughable. It was funny to watch. It was funny and sad at the same time. It was just absolutely shocking. Defensively, I want to hear what Zayn want to say about Thiago, because that was, why the hell did he need to do that challenge in the first place? Because we already had 2 men on Harvey Barnes. He ain't getting through, and we end up giving a foul, and it goes to being a goal. That first goal, I thought it was brilliant. Like Firmino, I said it before, he's a number 10. We need to get a striker in. Like the last Liverpool show that we did, we need a striker as soon as possible. And yeah, Alisson's having a tough time of it right now. It is as simple as that. Honestly, I think normally Alisson would go and get that. I think Kabak should have let the ball alone, because we've seen it time and time again. Alisson sweeper keeper, but it's just communication was just not there. It's just overall just a pathetic performance today, honestly.
I hear you on that. In terms of Thiago, I want to go to Zayn on this. I mean, you were buzzing about him coming in. He just hasn't adapted to the Premier League, has he? He just doesn't. If you didn't know who Thiago was, if you didn't know about his record, you didn't know about his past, you would be calling him a flop signing right now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, totally. If I'm honest, I was hoping he'd be subbed off. I know he came on, but basically I noticed the difference when Milner came off and then Thiago came on. He's just not physically ready for the Premier League. I think it's quite obvious that other leagues around Europe are not as good or fast or, as strong. He needs to work out, mate. He needs to go on the bench, bruv. Do you get me? And just because he's too weak, man. That's the same thing that happened with Naby as well when he started. Again, he was bossing it in Germany, comes here, bang. If I'm honest for Thiago, he needs to just basically go on the bench and work out, because he's not strong enough. And indeed, he was bodying him today, just bouncing rockets in Thiago, just falling over the place. So that clearly shows me he hasn't got the upper body strength in the legs as well, where he can't handle it. So I'm honest, I have to say, Thiago, man, honestly, you need to be sitting on the bench for a couple of weeks. And I'm keeping it real. I'll big him up when he's playing well, but if you're playing shit, and today, I'm sorry, Curtis Jones, how the hell is that brother not in the game till the end? That guy needs to be first name on the team, mate. He's playing well, man. Let him keep him going. Thiago, you'll have to go, because at the moment he's not up to it. So Terry, I just think it's quite obvious, even for Kabak as well. You can see there's levels to the Premier League, and unfortunately, you can't expect these players, even after a couple of weeks or even a couple of days, to be up to speed. So I just think, you know what, Trop doesn't trust his players. You can tell he plays the same people. He doesn't put on Shaqiri, he doesn't put on Ox, because they don't work in midfield. So we're done. We're dead. We are done at the moment. Until some players come back who are decent, Klopp is going to struggle, because he hasn't got the quality in the squad. So, Thiago, you're on the bench, brother, because I can't deal with you anymore, bro. I'm cussing you hard now. Anyway, sorry, Terry.
Listen, I understand you on that. And do you know what's interesting with a super chat here that says, remember when Rack said mentality is not an issue? I legitimately, guys, I think the mentality at Liverpool is the biggest problem here right now. I think it's become frail. I think it's become battered. I think it's just, you're falling apart. That there isn't the same. There's a famous scene in Rocky IV where the Russian Ivan Drago gets cut, and you see this almost look in his face of, I'm human, right? And then Tony in the corners of Rocky says, see, he's cut. He's a man. He's not a machine. Go out there and break him down. I think Liverpool were a machine. I think Liverpool believed that they were almost indestructible. And in the last year, we've systematically seen that disappear. And some of that's been losing games. Some of it's been having tactics found out. Some of it has been certain players getting injuries. And the squad just hasn't reacted. They just haven't reacted to this. And I think it's too harsh to blame it all on injuries, too harsh to blame it all on Jurgen Klopp. But soul searching needs to happen. And I think the continuing playing Thiago when he hasn't adapted to the Premier League is wrong. Curtis Jones, again today, was one of the best players out there for Liverpool. And then suddenly, bang, he dragged off again. That's a Jurgen Klopp mistake. That is a Jurgen Klopp mistake that does need to be addressed, because the title's almost done now. I say this with all seriousness. Give the Golden Lions back, because it's almost done now. I would declare, I'd throw in the towel if this was a boxing fight, and that's what would have to happen. We've got some super chats here. First one says, let's go, David. Gas it up. Vibes FC. We also have a super chat from Celtic Warrior. It seems to have disappeared off my screen, unfortunately. That says, I don't have the dough for this, but MUFC, ha ha ha. Anita here saying, if Chelsea win on Monday, we go above Liverpool. Listen, Neat, this is one thing I want to pose here to Ram. If I can't even
If
speak.
Chelsea, Terry, if Chelsea draw, if
Chelsea draw, they go in front. West Ham play Sheffield United, they could go in front. It's Everton this weekend versus Fulham, they could go in front. Tottenham probably not going to beat City. But if they did pull off a madness and beat, if Spurs can beat City, it's highly likely that Chelsea, West Ham, and Everton will all win based on who they're playing. Liverpool could be in 8th position, Ram. 8th position.
Yeah, I know. It's mad. It's mad. It is one of those seasons. And I think the best time. What's our next game again? Is it Everton? Everton. We need to come in with a fresh mentality. It's a Merseyside derby. We need to do something different. You know what I mean? And
that's gonna be a madness game in itself. That's gonna be a madness game in itself. We're gonna add O'Shea to this stream as well. Now, O'Shea, we know, is a Liverpool fan. I'm gonna go to David and Agal in a moment. So I do want to speak about Leicester City as well. They deserve massive praise. Burnley have just gone 1-up, by the way, against Crystal Palace. Make sure you're all still hitting that like button, people. We want to get this stream to 2,000 likes now, people. Let's make sure this stream stays above the mainstream media. Let's get it going. But O'Shea, you came into this season highly confident. We know injuries have been a problem, but it keeps going wrong. What's the matter with Liverpool right now, mate?
Yeah, the issue with Liverpool right now is deeper than people are just making out. And to be honest, there's nothing can save it. Until there's the summer, there's nothing that's going to save it. Right now, top 4 is our main priority, and that's sad, bro. I feel like an Arsenal fan right now. Do you know them ones? It's just peak, bro. Sorry, Agal, but I do. I feel like you right now, bro. Like it's just peak. And at the end of the day, everyone's at fault. Klopp, the players. I mean, what's Alisson do? You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be one of the best in the world. I get in arguments with David all the time about who's the best goalkeeper in the world, and this guy goes and makes 2 mistakes like that. You know what I'm saying? Black is the number 1 in the world. I don't care anymore. Like, he is, bro. He is. And you got Firmino missing chances, and he does beautiful skills like he did today, getting Salah the goal. But then how many chances does he miss? You got Henderson playing in midfield. It's just the whole thing it's like a circus. The whole thing is a circus. And I can't even sit here and blame FSG anymore, because at the end of the day, I understand, to rebuild a system and to change your style, you have to have new players. But it's not like we've got shit players. We've got the same players that went and won the Champions League and the Premier League. So to be performing this bad, fair enough. Maybe we don't retain the title. Fair enough. Maybe we did drop off, like you guys said. But finishing second, maybe I could accept that. But the way we're performing, this isn't just FSG's fault now. This is a whole heap of other things. And Klopp right now is treading on thin ice. I'm not going to say Klopp out, because who are you going to replace him with? But it's getting to the point where it's like, you need to fix up. You can't just blame FSG for not signing players now, because do you know what I'm saying? Why are the players not performing? You can't though. You can't, because why are they not performing to any standard? It's not about not signing players. Then if we finish second this season, then you could say fair enough, it's FSG's fault for why we didn't win the league. But finishing potentially out of the top 4, that's down to Klopp and the players, because why are you performing that badly? That's ridiculous.
I disagree, bro. No.
Zane, I'm not going to have it today. I'm not having it today.
No. Let me finish. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. Let me say what I'm going to say.
Regardless of how many injuries you've got, your team is still good enough
to be David, let him bury himself.
Yeah, let me talk.
Go ahead.
Look, I'm gonna have to jump off. Terry, I'm gonna have to jump off. But thanks for bringing me on, bro. It's been a while, but I'm gonna have to jump off.
Not a problem at all, bro. Not a problem at all.
Nice one.
Right, what I was going to say, right, is basically we ain't got a squad depth. Look, we're struggling, and Klopp doesn't trust players. You can tell he does not trust certain players. Minamino wasn't trusted. Ox ain't trusted. He's fit now. There's nothing wrong with him. Do you know what I mean? There's all these players that Klopp doesn't trust. Shaqiri's tried him. That's flopped. So his midfield at the moment, right, that he trusts, right, is Curtis Jones, Milner, and Gini. And that's the facts. Them are the facts. As soon as Thiago come on, you saw exactly what happened. He just broke down. He didn't look as good, as effective and slow, right? So I blame FSG, because fundamentally, the season before, they didn't bring anyone in. They should have supported the Champions League win. Right, we're going to win a title. Yeah, we got lucky. We won the title. I was going to say now, because we got no injuries. That's why we were lucky. But if we had any injuries, look what's happening now. 10 first-team players have been injured this season. That's mad. So we haven't got the squad depth. So no matter what you're saying, oh, we've got some players that are good enough. The whole squad, the whole team as a collective ain't right because some players are not at the level to do what club needs them to do. And that's the facts.
Okay, Terry, let me bring some facts to you. First of all, Liverpool fans, you're back to life. Back to reality. Let's go. Listen, you guys are back where you guys should be. Okay.
Where?
First
No,
of
no.
all-
Where?
Where? No. I kept myself quiet. Let me finish. You're gonna agree with me actually. After I'm done, you're gonna actually agree with me. So this is not no joke thing. You guys talk about Pickford always making errors. Guess what? Alisson has made 14 errors this year that has led to direct shots. That's one thing, right? You talk about having the best right back in the world. This man has been beaten on one-on-one chances to get past him. One of the most chances. Even just look at the Man City game. 3 direct goals led from his side of the pitch, right? Today also, even though Kabak was at fault, where was Trent? Why wasn't he helping? Okay. Next thing, you guys talk about Robertson being so great. Yes, going forward he's great, but at the same time, what has he been doing to help you throughout these last 3 games that you've lost on the bounce? 3 games on the bounce you guys have lost in the Premier League. This is not a joke. This is 3 games on the bounce. You talk about your defense being bad. Guess what? You signed Kabak. He's in the team today. You have defenders on the bench. Why isn't Klopp playing defenders on the bench instead of playing Henderson? You guys can't bring up a real valid point why he's doing that. On top of that,
can.
Let me finish. These are rhetorical questions. You don't need to answer them. Okay. Finally, you guys talk about you having a chance to get into the title. The title's done. You guys are not in the conversation. Top 4 is your main priority, and you know what? I honestly think Chelsea's better than you, are going to finish above you. I feel like Leicester, this game means Leicester is going to finish above you. Manchester United, don't even think about trying to catch up to them. Man City, don't even think about catching up to them. I put you guys 4th at one point at the beginning of the season, and I changed my mind, and I said you guys could win the league based on the early form. You know what? I should have stuck to my guns. I should have said you guys were going to finish outside of the top 4, because that's what it looks like right now. And your front 3 that you guys talk about every single year, saying the best front 3, Mane, Salah, Firmino. Guess what? I told you guys Firmino was a fraud. You guys see it every single week. I told you guys Mane and Salah, what they're doing. They're amazing players, but they should leave, and you should reinvest the money. At the beginning of the season, you guys made fun of me. Guess what? Who's laughing now?
Do you know what's interesting? Do you know what's interesting about everything that's being said there? Right? Is there's a lot of facts. There's a lot of truth in that. I think what stands out massively to me when it comes to these conversations is the front 3. I know that the defense has been an issue, but the overall performance from the front 3 this year hasn't been good enough. It's gone on 1 year too long. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. That is an FSG and Klopp issue. And the reason I say that is because Klopp needs to be more demanding. Klopp needs to, he needs to be the one to force the issue a little bit more. And I get there's been a global pandemic, but at the same time, you're Liverpool Football Club. You're worth millions of pounds. You have huge incomes. And you could have sold one of your front 3 to help fund the purchase of another attacking player, say a Jadon Sancho. I mean, imagine bringing the Jadon Sancho into the mix this season. Fresh, new, energetic. I think all of these things could have played a big part. They really.
Remember, everyone laughed at me. Everyone laughed at me when I said, for example, you could sell Salah. Remember that at the beginning of the season, you guys are like, "Oh, you went too far."
Yeah, if we sell Salah, then we lose about 30 goals this season.
Exactly. If Salah is their best attacker, you should sell Mane.
Okay.
This thing again. This stupid idea, this stupid notion that Liverpool fans have that Mane is better than Salah is BS, because he's got less goals this season than my flop, apparently, Timo Werner. So, do you really want to talk? No. I want to go in on this guy. Terry, do you have that little book where we put all our predictions down? Do you remember what my flop of the season was? That Spanish Andre Gomez. Fraud. That fraud in midfield. Say talking about wait for him to come in the system. It's going to be... Nah, he's dead. Andre Gomez there. That's what
what's interesting? On that flop of the season thing, you just mentioned, David, your flop of the season was Thiago. Interestingly, Igal had Thiago down as the signing of the season.
Who did I have as flop?
Ziyech. Who did I have? I need to make sure I don't know, man. I had Partey as the flop.
Who did I have?
No, I had Partey as the best. Oh my God, mine's awful. Oh my, I'm in the mud.
Who's yours?
Ruben Diaz.
Hold that.
So I gotta hold that big time. Yeah, that was my KJ says Ferran Torres as his. Indiana said Werner. Indiana was pretty good with his one there. But yeah, Gems is pretty good. Jem said Ake or Doherty at Chelsea. Who did I say was going to be the star? I said Thomas Partey. I've had an absolute.
Who did I say?
I've had an
absolute
embarrassing.
Listen, I listen to everybody saying here. I want to speak about Leicester for a moment, though, as well. I know we've done a lot here on Liverpool. David, give me your thoughts on Leicester, because they have looked absolutely brilliant this season. They've had a few up and down moments, but they've kept on going. They've kept on progression, and they find themselves in a really strong position, don't they?
I mean, again, Harvey Barnes, he's got a shout to be the England squad. He's been so good recently. And what has he done? He's added goals and assists to his game, and suddenly everyone's talking about him. It's always like that's the way you improve. What's it? I've said it myself. I think out of the four English players, Mount, Maddison, Grealish, Foden, I think Maddison's the best out of all of them. So many chances created. And today, that ball in, talking about offside. I don't even want to hear it about VAR today, because it was right. Liverpool fans were not complaining about VAR when the penalty was overturned to the free kick. But then when they scored the free kick, VAR's against us. Okay, cool. Jamie Vardy just does what Jamie Vardy does, really. I mean, the guy is, how old? 35, but realistically, he's like 25 because he hasn't been playing professional football. So he's still as rapid as he's been. And that goalkeeper, Kasper Schmeichel, for me, I love how no one's even mentioned it. Firmino was 2 yards away, legit, like 2-3 yards away. And this man just whipped out his right hand and blocked it. And it just went over so offside. Comfortably.
It was offside.
But it's gone registered down as a shot. Firmino should be scoring that. But Kasper Schmeichel today was not in the mood to concede. And the only time he did concede was from a shot where literally he could do nothing about it.
David, why are you so surprised? Firmino ain't scored nothing this season, so we know he's playing off form. So I don't understand why you're so shocked about it.
Zane,
that's me. I don't expect that brother to do anything.
Zane, he is 3 yards away. I don't
exactly. That's what I'm telling you. No, I don't expect the brother to put that away.
If that's my centre back, I would be pissed off. All right, just because Firmino doesn't score loads of goals.
This is Firmino I'm talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Doesn't mean you suddenly get away with it.
Crying over an offside goal.
To be honest, I feel bad for Liverpool this season.
Leave it, man.
No, I feel bad for Liverpool this season. They've had 11 decisions go against them for VAR.
No, they haven't.
Egal. How can you? It's not go against you. The only way you can say VAR decisions have gone against you is if VAR gets it wrong.
No, this is how you can say it. If the net points of the team.
No, because it doesn't work that way. So I'll give you an example. If I am offside and score a goal, right, but I was offside. So let's say I play for Man United. I go through on goal, I score, I get the match-winning goal. VAR checks it and I'm offside. That doesn't count as a decision going against Manchester United. The decision was wrong. It does. You're literally reading it backwards. The teams that have had the most decisions take away goals, essentially, are the teams that got the advantage in the first place by the referees or the assistants making a mistake. You literally are reading it the right. So the more points you've had taken away from you, the more goals disallowed because of VAR means you've had the rub of the green in real time.
You've effectively had the worst referees at the time.
Can I just? I'll tell you the stat. You tell me what you think of it. So this is overturned net score. Liverpool now, including this game, it would be -8.
-8 points
from their table. They're -8 points from their league table position based on decisions gone against them.
Egal, you're reading it the wrong way because people are trying to put down VAR here. So, what, in your opinion, was it offside or onside today? The goal.
It was the right decision.
So they haven't had points taken away from them, have they? Leicester have been rightfully gained the points that they maybe, because if this goal didn't go in, maybe they wouldn't have scored again, Leicester, because we saw the change in mentality. If this goal was wrongfully disallowed, Leicester wouldn't have got the points they rightfully should have had. When Arsenal had their goal remember when you played Man United last year and Aubameyang's equaliser was disallowed because he was offside, right? According to your stats, that means Man United have had points taken away from them because of an overturned VAR decision.
No, but I'm not talking about the fact that I'm saying the fact that people used to say Liverpool. the fact that last year we were calling them Liverpool, this year is the exact opposite.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's because what's been happening is the referees have been giving them decisions that they shouldn't have had in the first place. The whole point of VAR is to overturn clear and obvious errors. So what that stat you're saying is about -8 points is that they've received the most clear and obvious errors in refereeing. So they have nothing to complain about. What VAR is doing is correcting the refs from showing any bias towards them. That's what VAR is doing.
And that's the point here. Like whenever I see those tables, Man United have gained the most points from VAR overturns. All that tells me is that the referee made a mistake in the first place and made a clear and obvious error. Offsides are a little bit different because they're an objective decision, and you can clearly, interestingly, you can see where the shoulder, where the shirt line is, where the green dot meets. You can literally, when you look down, you can literally see Firmino's foot that's in front of the line. I mean, as soon as you see it in free, this is why VAR, this element of VAR for me is absolutely impeccable. It's absolutely impeccable because in real time, to our naked eye, it looked offside. The naked eye can't see this, and it's as near as accurate as possible. And I love how they've done it. They even got the ball just as it's being struck there. Absolutely perfect. This, for me, is one that Liverpool fans cannot complain about. The same as the penalty decision. I mean, this should have been a penalty. In real time, though, this would have been a penalty, right? Far more penalties are scored than free kicks. We all agree with that? So if VAR wasn't doing its job properly, that happens there. And for me, I don't really get what the issue is with VAR. The only reason Liverpool had more points taken away from them than anybody else is because they were given more incorrect decisions in their favour in real time. So without VAR, the real damage would have been done to their opponents. It's a fact.
I tell you, Terry, I think I'd rather
Liverpool,
prefer the
Leicester,
penalty over
please.
the free kick. The amount of people that have been skying it over the bar. Not gonna lie.
True. I hear you on that one. Get your super chat questions in for the panel, people. Smash that like button as well. Conroy has rejoined us here, back on the football terrace. Zane, you said you want to speak about Leicester.
Yeah, I just want to say how good they're playing because indeed coming back. They've got Maddison, they've got Telemans, they've also got Vardy. Piero looks decent. The defense looks decent. They've got a decent goalkeeper. I just think that what Brendan's doing with them, considering what happened last season, they've definitely got a different mentality. You can see it in the second half near the end where they chased the game, and that shows that. Do you know what I mean? Whether maybe next season, if they get some good players in, you never know, they could be up there. And definitely, I'd be surprised if they're not third or second this season. So I have to give a lot of respect to Leicester because they took their chances and they put them away. And simply as that, and that's what we haven't done. And they're looking dangerous all over the park. So I am going to say that at least with Leicester, they're definitely going to get a top four. I can't see them not getting it this season.
I hear you on that. And I want to speak a moment about another Leicester player, well, two Leicester players, Harvey Barnes and James Maddison. Are they shoo-ins? Are they got an outside chance in terms of the England squad for the Euros? What's your thoughts on that, comrade? Being an England fan yourself, what do you make of it? Do you feel like they've got a shout, they should be involved, or is it just difficult because of Raheem Sterling, Rashford, Grealish, Mason Mount?
I actually heard someone talk about that the other day, thinking England will only take 3 strikers and they'll use Rashford. He'll count as one of their wingers, if you know what I mean. I'd say you need to take Maddison, but I don't know. Southgate, when I've watched him, he's quite strange, isn't he? He says he picks people with form, but then he has quite weird acquisitions. Sometimes he picks players he likes. I can't see them both going. I really like Harvey Barnes, but I know I've spoken to a few Leicester fans and they tell me he does look good today, but I don't think he's like the finished article. So I don't think Barnes will go. I think Maddison's got to go. I've been on the Liverpool fan. I've been wanting Maddison for about a year. I think Maddison's is brilliant. On Zane's point, no, I just wanted to say, I actually don't think Leicester had to play that well to win today. I've seen Leicester play much better. I thought against Chelsea they played much better. I think today it was just Liverpool just gifted them the goals. I mean, even the third goal, Salah just nonchalantly just passed it, but no one goes on about that because it's Salah, just gives them the ball in the middle of the park. It's just, yeah, but back to the question, I think Barnes won't go and Maddison will.
Yeah, that's an interesting. For me, it's just difficult. I mean, suddenly England, are blessed with all these very good 10s, stroke attacking midfielders, inside forwards at the same time. It makes it, you kind of think Rashford, Sterling, Jadon Sancho are sort of shoe-ins. Harry Kane, from an attacking point of view, is a shoe-in. You got Calvert-Lewin.
Is Sancho a shoe-in, Terry? Why is Sancho a shoe-in over other players?
I think Sancho has to be. I know that a lot of people, I don't watch the Bundesliga with great regularity. I watch as many Dortmund games as I can because I want to watch him progress from an England point of view. I know David does, but yeah, he's something different from a lot of the players that we've got. He's more creative inside forward than Sterling and Rashford, who are more your goal scoring type players. So I think we need that versatility. Plus, he plays on the right, and majority, when you think about a lot of our players, way more to the left hand side of the attack than the right. I think he gives us a great sort of advantage in those areas. There's no doubt about it. But it's great to have these. I just wish we had this volume of great centre backs that were English. I wish we had that. Like at the moment, I remember for years it was like we had Sol Campbell, John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Ledley King. It's like now we've got that in the attacking front, and you then look at the central midfield or centre back areas and think, Jesus, it's sparse, isn't it? Like there really aren't very many. There really isn't very many great options in those areas, indeed. But I want to go back to Liverpool for a moment here. Obviously, we spoke about the offside today. For me, it wasn't offside. We spoke about the Alisson mistake. We spoke about the sort of the poor defending from Kabak for the third goal. And I feel really sorry for him. I really, really do. But in terms of top four, I want to go to David first and Agal first from a rival point of view. Do you think Liverpool are going to struggle to make the top four now?
Yes.
Just put it like this. If we draw to Newcastle on Monday, we go above these, man. Hey, you lot, if we finish above you this season, I'm £100 richer, and that makes me even more unbearable. I'm winning money. I forgot to tell O'Shea, I want my £50 now. I need it because you ain't winning no league this season, so I want my £50. We finish above you. That's another 50 from Stroh as well. I think City will make it. I think United will make it. I think Chelsea will make it. If anyone will drop out, it will be Leicester. The only thing that will stop Leicester is injuries. They just need to keep everyone fit. Vardy's back. They need to keep him fit. Keep Maddison fit. They're the only team I can see dropping out. Because Chelsea will have this bounce. It will keep going. And Tuchel's a brilliant manager. So even after the bounce, we'll still be winning games. And then look at the teams below. Everton. Teams like Everton, Villa, Spurs. I think that they're all really good teams, but I don't think they can sustain it. So I think Liverpool finish fifth. I think they're going to finish fifth. I'm going to say it now. I think you're finishing fifth.
Igal, how about yourself, Igal? Do you feel like they're too good to miss out on top four?
No, I've been saying they're gonna decline, and this is the beginning of the decline. I said it after the Brighton game. This is the beginning of the decline, and they've lost the last 3 games. They've lost the last 2 games after that, and I think they're going to continue to lose. They might lose to Everton, and to me, once they lose to Everton, that's the final nail in the coffin. If they don't get the 3 points against Everton, you can kiss top 4 goodbye, because I don't think Leicester's going to drop off with the players, with the teams they have left. You still have to play Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Leeds, Aston Villa, and I think you're going to struggle in all those games. So Liverpool fans, get ready, because your championship window is easily closing, and your top 4 hopes is now also closing. So I think they're going to finish 5th.
I mean, it's a tough one. I find it really hard to write Liverpool off. Personally, I find it very, very difficult to write them off. But they have to turn this form around, and they have to turn this form around very, 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 very quickly, because it's like having rot in your house. It spreads. Do you get where I'm coming from? It will just keep spreading and spreading and spreading and spreading, and that's what I'm seeing with Liverpool right now. I'm just looking at the fixtures here and going back, just sort of trying to work backwards in many ways. I'm going to put these up on the screen so everybody can see. I'm zooming in a little so people can see this. If we go back to, how long ago, from a Liverpool fan perspective, does that 7-1, sorry, a 7-0 against Crystal Palace on the 19th of December, Phil? We're talking 2 months, so it's quite a long time in terms of, 60 odd days. But since that point, Liverpool have been on the large bang average. They had a few little moments here in the games against West Ham and Tottenham. We thought, maybe they've turned that corner again. But then 3 more defeats, and it doesn't get any easier. Suddenly, Everton look full of life. They look revitalized. Everton could go above Liverpool this weekend, and then maybe, just maybe, break their hoodoo in these kind of Merseyside derbies. They've got to turn it around quickly. Liverpool, for me, I'll make this statement now and I'll stand by it. If Liverpool fail to beat Everton on the 20th, so in 1 week's time, they won't make the top 4 because I think the mentality will be so damaged, they will be so fragile from that point, they won't be able to recover. Based on the fact, one sec, that Man United, Leicester are moving forward still. I think Chelsea are coming in strong with Tuchel being their manager. There's just going to be too many teams for them to clamber back over because you can see, based on call we've had earlier, the way Klopp's reacting, the way Henderson was reacting. Thiago hasn't settled. Klopp not trusting certain players. I honestly think if they don't beat Everton, that's going to be my turning point to say top 4 is going to be very, very, there'll be slim chances of them making it. Yes, Ram.
You forget we have Leipzig in midweek. That's just
Cheers for that, Ram. Cheers, not even Saturday's finished yet. Cheers, mate.
No, just on that though. Honestly, I think realistically, I just want to find some form for the Champions League because you really don't know our team, man. Like 2005, we weren't that great in the league, but somehow, this is Liverpool, bro. You never know what can happen with us. You could just jam it and pick up the Champions League.
Do you know about his first hand? Zane's right though. I mean, sometimes
you never know.
Sometimes it's not about fan opinion. It's listen to what people. I've had a big debate on Twitter today about people settling into the Premier League. I'm like, listen, you've heard enough foreign imports say, look, I could probably go on the internet and find the interviews if I really have the time. I want to be pernickety about it. But we've all heard them say the speed, the pace, the lifestyle, the aggression in the English game is something you have to get used to, as an example. So we take their word on it that when you've heard multiple players say it, there has to be some kind of substance. My opinion becomes less worthy when you've heard people, when you hear people that have experienced it talk. Do you get what I mean? The same thing can be said about separate competitions. I've heard so many pro footballers talk about how sometimes having a European game when you're struggling in the league can be a brilliant distraction. So I think Zane's speaking some sense there that this could be getting a result against Leipzig could just give Liverpool the kind of impotence they need to come back to the league and feel a bit more confident. However, there is a however here.
Yeah.
Go the other way. You go up against Leipzig and get absolutely pammed, then it's trouble. How are you feeling, Conroy, ahead of the game, the Champions League return this week?
See, the thing is, before today, Terry, I felt kind of okay, but for the past couple of weeks, I've been speaking about it, and I think personally, see that front three, it's not even about, sometimes it's about aura and a fear factor. And I think that is gone now. I think opposing teams are not scared of them anymore. I don't think Leipzig will be scared of them. Why would you be scared of Mo Salah right now? Because every left back has had their best game against them in the last couple of weeks. Yes, he scores and he's effective. We've spoke about this many times, but we know technically he's not great. And if you get and be aggressive against them, it works. Again, today, look at the injuries Leicester have got. And people keep talking about, that front three, they should be licking their lips, they're getting behind. But they just do not use any advantage. They're just so wasteful and toothless every single game. And it's like they do not practice any patterns they play when they get in good positions in the final third. And I just think, personally, I was okay. But now I feel like I don't think Leipzig will be scared. Nagelsmann's a really good manager. He's an arrogant manager. And I think he'll go for it. I know against United was a bad example, Terry. I know like Upamecano in that game, they got a bit done because they went for it. But that just shows you he doesn't care. He does give respect like that. He's just going to go for it. And I could see it being maybe not a demolition job, but I could see them showing a level above during the week, to be honest.
Also,
do you know what? Just on that though, they're not on form, bro. The strikers, right? Let's be honest. Mane, he had a chance today last season. He would have gone through the striker, and that would have been a goal. They're just not on it.
Disagree. Mane, Zane's never been a good finisher. Mane's never been a top finisher.
No. I'm talking about that one where the defender got there. Mane got there too late. Last season, Mane would have got there ahead of that and taken the defender, and the ball would have gone into the back of the net. Just outside, right? That one, and that's what I'm saying. The difference is that Mane is not the same player he was last year. So you can't keep talking about Mane as Mane because he's not Mane. This is someone else. This brother's someone else this season, bro.
No, this is
What's our solution then? Why do we keep doing the same things? It's like people saying they're playing a low
don't
block.
Trust.
Yeah, they're playing a low block. Try something else.
Where's Jota's injured. So who can he put on? Origi don't do nothing. He's tried to Shaqiri out there, don't do nothing.
They can't lose their place. Firmino still gets a game. He's not fearful of losing it. That is terrible. Like, you can't win the league and then just assume you've got your place, and that's what's happening. Firmino,
yeah, but who else he can go to, bro? He's tried other players.
Zane, this is why I always say you're talking nonsense. You're making excuses, and then 2 seconds later you talk about how your team's. Yeah, you are. Everything's coming out of your mouth.
Has he got Jota to put on? No. So how can he make the change? An effective change?
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. I'm confused. 1 second you're saying your team's dead. The next second you're making excuses why they're in the position they're in. Which one is it?
They're dead because they're out of form and they're not playing well. So yeah, they deserve to be where they are. I'm just saying, Mane's not the same player last season, bro.
I agree with that. I just think Mane's never been great at finishing.
Maybe create something from midfield again. Wijnaldum. I'm just saying, still no assist. I'm still waiting on it. I'm gonna be.
He's playing the six, bro. He's playing the six, bro.
You start gassing up people like Kovacic. When's the last time he scored a goal?
Hey, yeah, we can't compare right now, Ram. We can't have a go at other people.
What is the point?
Ram, have I called Kovacic world class? No,
have I called Wijnaldum world class?
Yes, especially you remember when he scored that corner taken quickly. Oh, you wish he could be back.
That was Origi.
Corner taken quickly. And Wijnaldum, he won us against Barcelona. That's when
guys. Do you know what I would say is this? Where David is speaking sense is along the lines of Liverpool do need more from the midfield. That's why Thiago was purchased. That's why the Ox was purchased. It's why Naby Keita was purchased. Whether it be injuries, adapting to the league, or just being simply good enough, those purchases so far haven't worked for Liverpool. And by the way, in terms of transfer fees, you're looking north of £100 million. And in terms of salaries, you're talking tens of millions of pounds a year collectively for those players. And it hasn't quite worked. And it's something that gets papered over a lot with Liverpool. Nobody talks about it. I've got a super chat here that says Terry points out about rot spreading is spot on. We as Reds can't splinter our support and mimic our rivals' hopes of our downfall. Drowning it. Sorry, I can't read this. And mimic
drown it out knowing.
Drown it out knowing. Okay, cool. Sorry, I kind of get what you're saying there. So I was losing I was trying to think about what you were saying and reading it at the same time. Sorry. Yeah, listen, I think Liverpool fans just got woken up here. I think for me, too often I see excuses, injuries, or one player being blamed, and it's a case of everything. There needs to be a shifting in this in the tactics. You need to look at certain players coming in and not hitting the ground running. Certain individuals have gone backwards. Certain individuals have gone stale. And we know that Klopp's had a lot going on in his personal life, and I think that's a fair thing to sort of put his way. But what we can't ignore is this decline had started over a year ago, and it was slow to begin. But like any fire, it starts off with a very small flame, but it grows and grows. My issue is I've been talking about it for a year. I continually get shut down, but every week there seems to be a new excuse from the sort of communist Merseyside around, why the world's against them. And today I've already seen it on Twitter, but Mane was pushed over in the build-up to this goal. We should have had a penalty. We should have had that. Yeah, maybe today you did have a decision go against you. But in the cold, hard light of day, you've been losing more games, scoring less goals, conceding more goals for over a year now, and it's been an exponential growth to this point. The crescendo is now loud. The music's been building, and it's now here to stay. And Liverpool fans have got to wake up and smell the coffee that your decline, and it is a decline, is not down to one thing: injuries, mindset, confidence. It's a combination of all of these things. It really is.
Terry, I think FSG had the whole...
Sorry, someone just called me out on it. I try my best to not miss super chats as best as I can. I'm going to try and get it up on the screen now in front of me. I'm sorry that I missed it. It's just not showing right now. Once it does show in front of me, I'll get it up on the screen and I'll read that out. I promise. Remember, we're also going to be live straight after Man City versus Tottenham today, so make sure you're tuning into that. It would mean a great deal to us if indeed you're all there. Here's the super chat. It says Thiago Alcantara should have signed for Barca. He fits their system much better. And that's the question, I suppose, to end the show on today. Does anybody feel that Thiago Silva will come good at Liverpool? Or is it too early to judge him? Thiago Alcantara, sorry. Will he come good at Liverpool? Or is it too early to sort of have these conversations in your opinions?
he needs to adapt physically, bro. He's too weak. He gets bodied. He's on it NDD today, so he needs to get firmed up. And that's the problem with the Premier League. It's too strong and powerful. So if you want to compete, you've got to be able to body people. And my man's getting bodied. So I just think he needs to be bent up.
It's not about intelligence though, because Kante's tiny, but he's still was great at that position. Sometimes I think like he's trying
don't
too hard.
Disrespect Kante's strength. No, you're disrespecting strength.
I'm not saying he's not strong. I'm just saying, like, you can be intelligent about it. Like, Luka Modric is not a big guy. Like, you can use your strength in a way. I think Thiago's trying too hard. Like I said the other day, gets booked the first 2 minutes. It's like he's meant to be a world-class midfielder. How has he not got the intelligence to think that's stupid? And again today, like, Jordan Henderson's absolutely fuming. So if this guy he's a brilliant midfielder, Jordan Henderson's screaming at him because he nearly gives a penalty away. And then it's like, he's so erratic. What? How is he so erratic? I don't understand why he keeps doing the same thing.
He can't handle Premier League, bro. He needs to adapt. That's the thing.
Zayn, that's not the point. At Bayern Munich, he wasn't like this. He wasn't this. He wasn't this erratic.
You're talking about German football, totally different thing, and also Bayern Munich, who dominate. They're not going to get what they get in the Premier League.
No, even when they weren't dominating, he was this erratic. You know what I mean?
Look, I think he should be subbed. He shouldn't be playing at the moment.
Yo, Zayn, Liverpool fans, let me talk to you guys. Don't you guys feel like this was a move to sustain your this was like a win now move? Even though you guys just won the league, this was like to keep you guys up there. You guys got a proven talent, brought him into the team, and you're like, you know what, this is to sustain what we already have. But maybe you should have stuck to your recruiting tools and gone for another like Jota type player that needs to develop, that's not considered the finished article, because then he would have more drive and more tenacity. This man literally won everything he could win last year. He's coming into your team. He has no point to prove, and usually Liverpool players that come into a team, they have some sort of chip on their shoulder. So that element of your signing, that element of the players you usually sign is not in him. So maybe he just doesn't have the desire to.
Hold on. Jota's got proven Premiership experience. Jota's got proven Premiership experience. So it's a different comparison. You can't
You're missing the point. All I remember, Zayn, hold on. What I find very funny about Liverpool fans is at the start of the season, when Werner wasn't doing so well, no one wanted to talk about adjusting. You were all laughing at us. So where's the same energy? I want to hear it, boys. I think Thiago will adjust. I think, though, Klopp needs to play him in his best position, which is sort of, like not a twin six, but like he needs someone next to him who can effectively do the destroying work, because he's not exactly the most mobile guy. What you're trying to do is just put him in as a one, like we were doing with Kante, and just hope he adjusts. Like, you're not going to adjust that well. You need to adjust in your most comfortable position. This was my problem with Lampard when he was there. And right now, Klopp is acting a bit like Lampard.
David, he tried that for the first couple of games, but now Genie's a 6. You got to understand.
Hold on. But after the first couple of games, you were gassing him, saying he was one of the best in the league. I don't want to hear it from you.
No. You were gassing him when he beat a bunch of under 12s, to be fair.
I'm ruthless. I don't care if we beat whoever we beat. But I've called it out. Go on.
Zayn speaks sense about the speed. I've seen this a lot recently. Suddenly, certain football fans have suddenly tried to act like playing in the Premier. You played in Germany, or you bossed it in the Champions League. The Premier League isn't harder than that. It's just the speed and you get away with more in the Premier League on a physical level. And I do agree with Zayn that, like, Kante's a prime example. He might be small in stature, but he has great strength. And it's not even about the physical strength you have. And I'll give you an example of this. Lukaku is a unit. I'm going to hazard an assumption here that he's pretty strong. I reckon he's a pretty strong bloke because of his size, and he's an athlete, right? But he didn't use that strength. In the Premier League, I saw far too often when he was trying to hold the ball up for Man United, I would say, this is eye test, this isn't based on stats, I'd have to go and check it. I felt like at least 6 or 7 times out of 10, the centre-back bullied him off the ball. I don't think he was prepared to use his strength. I don't think he was prepared enough in my view. So far, I've seen that same thing with 2 players in the Premier League this year, Thiago and with Donny van der Beek. They are both superb passers. They have great vision. They are wonderful technicians. Football isn't about, I'm going to use P&P here, football isn't just about power and pace, but it also isn't just about ability. It's about intertwining the two things and using them depending on what league you're in. There are some leagues where if you're as physical as you are in the Premier League, you're going to be getting sent off every single game. There are other leagues, across the world where you probably find you have to be even more physical. I'm sure there's some leagues in South America which are absolutely horrific because they play with a lot of passion and velocity now, as well as it being skillful. I remember watching a documentary about Argentinian football, and you see the way some of the lower leagues go at it down there. You get red cards every week in the Premier League, if you get what I'm saying, right? And I'm sure somebody with a more educated palette on football globally could educate me on that. But I feel there's that kind of element. I look at Thiago and I look at Donny van der Beek in the same way at the moment. They haven't adjusted to life on the football pitch in the Premier League. I think it's quick, it's phonetic, it's fast-paced, it's physical, and I think they're struggling, and they need to learn to adapt. As fans, we can criticize them. I think writing off Thiago, writing off Donny van der Beek right now is wrong. And the reason I say that is this. A lot of people say if Man United were better drilled and had a better system and a better style and a better coach, they could, and we had better drills, then Donny would fit in. But Liverpool have all those things, and yet Thiago struggling to adjust. We've seen how many players have we seen come to the Premier League who have been stars where they are and play for good teams with good managers or great teams with great managers and still maybe take a year, maybe take 2 years, or maybe never quite find their feet in the Premier League. And when you listen to interviews with all of them and they speak about it, the ones who have the cojones to admit they flopped in the league or struggled, it's always the same words, a variation of, but it's always a case of speed, aggression, even things like the early kickoffs. I mean, Patrice ever spoke about how he had to eat pasta at like 8 o'clock in the morning and it made him feel physically sick because he had to eat dinner in the morning because of what time they were playing. And he said that took him time to adjust. And he says, when I was playing in France, we didn't have to do that. So you throw in the regularity of and times of kickoffs, the difference in diets, the physicality and speed, the extra fitness levels that are needed, and it all falls apart, and it takes time. And I just think people that want to disregard, I don't understand why we've suddenly entered this phase of football where we stop listening to what professional football players have been telling us for 20, 30 years about adjusting and going to new countries and playing in new places. I find it staggering that we just want to make, no, it's all about the manager being crap, or you don't understand football, you don't understand the nuances of the way Thiago plays. I'm like, I don't need to. I just see him get brushed off the ball by a man half his size, and he ain't up for the fight. And that's the point. It's about being up for it. And I always talk about like work rate. That isn't, when I say like work rate, I don't mean chasing the ball around willy-nilly. I mean persevering when it isn't working. When I talk about being faster, someone said to me earlier, well, how can you make Donny van der Beek run faster? I don't mean run faster. I mean move faster, think quicker, pass, make your pass quicker. You haven't got the time on the ball. Oh, I thought you meant running. Yeah, because that's what the hipsters do. They boil it all down to basic things. When you say faster, you mean running. When you say work rate, you mean pressing. No, I don't. You're the ones who have got, for me, unsophisticated palates, mate. You just, all you are beans on toast football fans. Bruv, I'm on caviar here. I'm only messing. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, do me a favor and smash that like button. We're going to be back live a bit later. Osman here says, statistically, the worst title defense in Premier League history with 24 games played. What happened to Dortmund under Klopp is happening to Liverpool. That's the one final point I want to pull on here, guys. I want to get a ram on this. Is that your fear? That's the one thing that keeps being defended. It's not the same thing. Klopp lost all these players back. People try and find differences. Do you think there's a fear amongst Liverpool fans that legitimate burnout could be here and it's never going to recover?
If we don't buy the right players, then I don't like. I personally have made a shopping list for this summer coming up. You know what I mean? If we don't buy the right players and we keep some of the players that we don't need, then definitely, I think it might happen. It can happen.
There we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back about 7 o'clock tonight when City Spurs finishes. I'm hoping for another exhilarating game. Until then, people, look after yourselves. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Smash that like button. Sign up to our Discord server. All the information is below, and we'll see you all again very